What's up, Josh?
We're off to a great start.
Dude. Yes. It's late. We're recording much later than we normally record. I am thankfully, for the love of God, blessed by Josh's presence. The other rankers are ashamed of what they've been doing, I guess, and they're not here. Or I don't know. No,
Ashamed of their teams,
no.
apparently.
Their team's performance. I mean, they played against each other, so like one of them won. I don't even remember which one. I think it was Noah.
Justin won barely.
Oh yeah,
like, barely.
Justin won. You're right. 90 to 88. Nice, guys. Good job. You keep it up. I feel like that was both an expected loss for them. I would almost guarantee they should have both lost, expected points wise. But anyway, I digress. Welcome onto the show. And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, you and I did a show while watching Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. It was literally us two. I think I literally wasn't looking at the screen half the time because I was just watching the game.
Yeah. So, no Thursday Night Football, unfortunately, to grace us this time, but we've had a flurry of movement, and let's just dive into the rankings. So, to start off, we have a new number 12. Sam, you're out of the spot. Good for you, buddy. Santos is there, and we know why. Any value this team had is gone. The man starting. Let's just read the starting lineup. Jared Goff, who's actually been pretty good for fantasy. So, Tyler Algier, Keontae Ingram, Curtis Samuel, Gabe Davis. Okay, Pat Freiermuth,
Respectable.
Rashee Rice. He's got Zeke Elliott on the bench. Play that man. He's got Miles Sanders on bye, who's the backup in Carolina. And Santos is cruising for the number 12 spot. Good for you, Santos.
He's trying hard.
He really is. I hit him up and I was like, hey, I want to straight up buy Aaron Jones. I initially was thinking like I'll flip him a running back, keep him competitive, and then I literally hit up and said, I just want to buy him. I don't want to give you a player. I just want to pay some sort of pick combination. And he was like, okay. And we worked out a deal. And then he put everyone on the block. And has sold half of them already.
Yeah. That is the quickest
Cooper's
I've ever seen a fire
Devonta's gone. And can you, like, let's talk about some of these trades. I didn't even realize, dude, like, let me see. So I liked the Cooper Jameson Williams deal with Jacob. 7 for a 10th was the big number here. So not a huge spend, honestly, for Jacob. But Justin, dude. You see what Justin traded for Devontae Smith? Or paid for Devontae Smith?
Yes.
He paid a 6th rounder straight up.
Yes.
For a 15, like that is like giving a 6th rounder. And like, am I crazy? I feel like Devonta Smith hasn't been good this year. Am I wrong?
Okay. I would say his past couple weeks have been a little deceiving. I think that Devontae Smith was a good buy low candidate, so I get why Justin paid what he did. Like, I don't know if you watched the Jets-Eagles game, but like he had 11 targets.
I did not.
He had 11 targets, caught 5 of them for 44 yards. He straight up dropped a 20-yard target with an additional 20 yards to run. And, 5 for 11. He's still in the passing game, so I think last week he should have had probably around 13 to 14 points minimum. Week before that, one off. Because they're working to get AJ Brown back in. But I think I'm still high on him. It's just funny because Justin traded him away and then bought him back.
Wait, hold on. Buyer's remorse. Wait a second. I need him back. And I thought the pick gap was so huge. I was stunned. I was like 6 for a 5th. Okay, so that's just a straight up take a 6th rounder. Not the only deal Justin did, but we'll get in the next one in a little bit. Sam's at 11. Takes another loss to me. The team was essentially at full strength this last week and mustered 90 points. Like, JT was back. Barkley was back. I know the matchup wasn't really great for Barkley. But everyone was here. Higgins was in. Burrow was playing. So you gotta be concerned. I know that I hit up Sam. Dude, okay, let's peel back the curtain. I hit up Sam after the game. Obviously, it said GG's. And then the next day, I was like, hey, I'd like to trade for one of your running backs. As I'm trying to figure out the whole Kyron situation, right? And Sam says, no low ball offers. I know what I have. Okay, fair. So I offered him a combination of picks that I thought was fair. And he said, I want a first rounder.
Okay.
I don't want both of them. Wait, it was for one. Neither JT or Barkley is worth a first rounder. Am I wrong?
At this current moment, no.
No, maybe they get there if they just become fantasy stud CMC level over the next couple weeks, but I don't feel like that's going to happen. I mean, JT plays Cleveland, New Orleans, and then that's the trade deadline.
Yeah. I see why they could potentially be worth it in the future, but it would take 4 or 5 weeks for that to pan out.
Yeah, we need to see it proven. I was stunned. And then he was like, I'm just going to wait for the trade deadline. I was like, okay. First rounder, bruh. Last year, 2 first rounders got moved for, at the time, the best receiver in football, and then at the time, the best receiver in football. Literally, it was for Cooper Kupp, and then Kupp got hurt, and then it was for Justin Jefferson. So crazy. But hey, Sam is looking. I think he's looking to sell. He would have to win the next 2 weeks and see good numbers produced back, I think, for him to continue to buy in.
He does get to face Santos this week, though, so...
Oh!
Toilet bowl!
The Burrito Bowl versus Devonta's not on this team.
Whose new team is it? It is Freiermuth's new team.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah. So hey, Sam's projected to win for the first time all year. Good for you, Sam. You get it done.
76.
Moving on, and it's Justin at 10. And this is actually kind of odd. None of us have Justin at 10. So I have your rankings, I have my rankings, and I have Noah's rankings. And none of us have him this low.
What's dragging him down?
What's dragging him down is the conglomerate. We all have him low. I have him at 8. You have him at 7. Noah has him at 9. But there are other teams that we are vastly different on in value, and they're floating. It's pushed them up above. Justin's at 10. And I do know that I had him at 8 before these moves, although I don't know if I really would change my opinion. He picked up the Browns' backfield, traded away Nakua, and picked up Devonta Smith. What's your outlook on the Browns' backfield?
I don't like the backfield. However, I like their schedule. And I think that's the angle Justin was going for. Because if you just look at their schedule, they have a very, very favorable schedule. They're already done with their bye. I can see what he's going for, and we've seen what Jerome Ford can do, in the past. So I just don't know what to think of them because I don't like the Browns' offense. Period.
No,
I don't know.
And I'm I think that this backfield is heading more and more towards a committee. And I think there are points to be had here, but you're kind of hoping you played the guy who falls in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
You're hoping to get the 15 off the guy who falls in the end zone. It could be either him or Hunt. And by the way, I called it with the freaking Rams receivers. The first week Kupp is back, they both get 15. This last week, Kupp got 20-some, and Nakua got 4. Next week, if it flips, it would not surprise me. Like, if Nakua has the huge game and Kupp doesn't really have a great game, which is less likely, but you know what I mean. It wouldn't surprise me. And but Justin had to play them both. You can't not play them both, and it was totally limiting the upside of his team. But to sell Nakua, it's just for like the same situations in the Brown backfield. Like, I don't know if I'm like in on it. It's a great move for Jacob, I think, because Jacob is just going to say, you know what, I'm going to put the extra value in my receiving room. Madison is a fine play. Like, he's going to get me 10. But I really get to juice up my receivers. And Jacob is at 3-3, so his season is nowhere near over. But yeah, it was just an odd play. And then straight up buying Devonta Smith to fill that hole now that the Nakua, trading away occurred. It's like, it was just a weird, like, okay, all right.
I get the rationale though.
Yeah.
I still think. I mean, personally, I don't think he needed to spend even like if he was going to give away a 15th, I would have given away like an 8th. Like something like that.
If you're going straight pick buy, yeah.
Because I mean,
I agree.
If there was any time to buy low on Devonta Smith, it's probably right now. This is when his value is going to be the lowest. But I think it's going to go up.
Or it could just stay. I'm not crazy high on him. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But yeah, Justin's at 10, and Justin's also only has 2 wins. And he plays you this week.
Yep.
And spoiler, we're not going to talk about you for a while. Okay?
He said he was going to go down with the ship, and he meant it.
He's doing it. Good for you, Justin. Moving on, we have Noah at 9. How the Mighty Have Fallen. It's a -1 for Noah. Continues to tumble after the tough loss. And I made the bold prediction that Noah wouldn't win another game until Justin Jefferson and/or A-Chain came back. And 1-0, baby.
Man, this team is this is like Santos last year.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen and one other player, and that's it.
And that's it.
Michael Thomas has made an appearance in the starting lineup. That's how you know.
Michael Wilson is in the lineup.
Oh,
there's no other good plays. What is happening with this dude? Hey, but Amari DiMercado. There you go. That's
it was totally worth the $30 of fab that he spent.
$33 of spend.
Still only the second worst fab spend I've ever seen.
Wait, what was the worst one? Oh wait,
we're gonna talk about that one.
We're gonna talk about yeah, I mean, Josh Allen, I guess, can win you some weeks. New England isn't the greatest matchup for him. Devonta Foreman right now is the starter for Chicago, so keep riding that train.
Is Roschon out this week, or?
It looks like it. He's still coming back from the concussion. He didn't practice today, so there is a chance that Foreman gets another shot at it. Swift's been good.
He's got a good matchup this week. It should be a track meet too, so.
That would be fantastic for all parties involved if Miami and Philly just went crazy.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
How did Osborne? I didn't check Osborne. How did Osborne do last week?
Yeah.
5 for 4 for 48. He was fine.
Against San Fran though. Oof.
Oh. Andrews had a good game, I believe. Oh, he was fine. When is Mark Andrews going to live up to the hype? Good Lord.
I was afraid he wouldn't, which is why I passed on drafting him.
This is crazy. I mean, I guess there are very few tight ends with a ceiling of 22 points, but to only hit something like that one time this year is kind of disappointing.
I mean, I would try and talk, but hey, I've got Kittle, so I'm in the same boat as him.
Kittle's like, I'll only catch 3 balls. He will go for 3 yards or 3 touchdowns. It's a flip of a coin.
It just depends on what's going on.
But yeah, Noah's at 9. I have him the highest, but this is a mistake. I have him too high, so I'm not even gonna see what I have him at. I need to change it. You have him, I think, right at 8. Noah has himself at 10, so Noah's very down on his own team.
Yeah. Imagine if he did not trade for Josh Allen too. Oh.
This would be a disaster.
Yep.
This would be horrifying because he's 4-2, and generally for 4-2, you're not trying to sell, but like, I feel like I'd be trying to sell.
You would have to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, Achan's a good keeper, but like JJ's got to get out. In fact, that might be the solution, is to like try to flip JJ right now, because I was talking to a player today at practice, and there is a chance, there is a hypothetical, and let me ask you actually, that let's say the Vikings lose like their next 3, and actually, you know what? And who do they play? Let's just do it real quick.
San Fran, Green Bay, Atlanta.
Okay, so maybe not the next 3, but I could see them losing to San Fran and Green Bay. Maybe
schedule?
Green Bay, I guess. Kind of lightens up though.
Yes.
New Orleans, Denver, Chicago. That's not hard. Vegas, Cincinnati. They're playing bad. Okay, there is a world though where the Vikings like lose a couple more and they decide like, let's pack it in. You know.
They
and
said
JJ
they're not
don't
going
come
to,
back.
But they said they're not going to. But I'm calling BS on that.
I mean, they've only won 1 game, right? 2 games.
They've won 2 games. I think.
Carolina and Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not looking good, but point still stands.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a chance, and if that happens, that would be devastating. And so maybe selling JJ before you have the chance of that occurring. But I don't know, because if he does come back, he'll be dominant. So risky business.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Jacobs at 8. We talked about his movement. He's kind of floundering. Mark's at 7. And I don't really want to talk about these teams too much. Jacob boosts his receiver core. Running backs still kind of suck, other than Pollard. But like, Pollard can be good. And then Mark is the other way around. Or no, Mark's like the same deal. Receiving core is very good. His running backs are trash. Or other than Kamara. I was actually talking to Mark this week, who's in Iceland at the time of this recording. So lucky you, Mark. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get 5 out of Gus Edwards. If you look at the score, week 1, 5 points. Week 2, 12. Scored a touchdown. Week 3, 5 points. Week 4, 5 points. Week 5,
touchdown
4.8.
or 5. That's basically what he's looking at.
If he falls in the end zone, he gets 11, 12. Otherwise, it's gonna get 5. But I guess it's not a goose egg. That's a terrible way to live. And Devonta Adams has been letting him down. You have some experience with this.
Mm-hmm. A little bit painful. And I'm not gonna lie, actually, I was talking to one of my buddies, and he pulled off a trade. Well, a trade was sent to him. They offered DeAndre Swift and Devonta Adams for Austin Eckler. And he was like, dude, I gotta take this. I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. He ended up taking it, spoiler. But I was like, dude, I don't know what to think about Devonta. Because even watching them, like when Jimmy G was healthy, it almost seemed like sometimes he'd like look Devonta, give him one quick look, and then he was just keying in on Jakobi Meyers. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I don't know either. There has been speculation that they've been like trotting him out as a decoy. He's been recovering from a shoulder injury, which is definitely possible. Thank God they at least did that against the Packers versus me. But week 3, week 4 would allude to think. I mean, I did not realize this. 20 targets against the Steelers.
Yeah. But I think, was that the game Jakobi Meyers was out? Or was that when Jakobi Meyers was coming back from concussion?
Meyers was out.
He was out? Okay.
Yeah, with that concussion.
Okay. And now Michael Mayer's starting to emerge. So I mean,
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping I'd pick him up on fantasy wire for the waiver. So yeah, if Adams can bounce back, you're very high on Mark. You have him at 4.
oh, I do.
But after taking a look, yeah, do you think maybe he needs to slide down the rankings a smidge?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't look at any of the rosters when I submitted to you my rankings because I was at Life Group.
And then like Cousins has been mostly good for fantasy. The 2 games that he's been outright garbage, they've won. So it's like I don't know what to make of that. Like, are you rooting for the Vikings? I don't know. Bryn is at 6, and Bryn did not move. He was at 6 last week after a crushing defeat. Again at the top half of scoring. Again plays a team who's also at the top half of scoring, but just a little better. Just a little bit better. And let's talk about it, Josh. Let's talk about the worst fab you've ever seen spent.
Goodness, 33 for Julio. I mean, that is a transaction. And then, how much did he spend for Zach Evans?
20.
$20 for Zach Evans?
I kind of get the 20 for Evans. But because he desperately needs a running back play. There's a chance that Evans is going to be the starter. There's a chance, though. We don't know because they signed Gaskin to the active roster.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Royce Freeman to the active roster. And they signed Darrell Henderson to the practice squad, but who has the most experience of the 4, and he might be able to get in and get snaps. So, yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. That's why I kept my bid low. I think I only put in like 8 for him. Or no, I didn't even bid for him. I actually removed my bid once I got Aaron Jones. I said, I don't even need this.
I didn't even bat an eyelash. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
He's trending up. I don't care. Because I was always of the opinion Kyren will miss like 1, maybe 2 weeks, and then he'll be back, and what are we talking about?
Yeah, what? Yeah. But 35th Julio, if the Eagles announce next week that Julio has actually decided to retire, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be like, what? I'd be like, oh yeah, he's old and didn't really do much last year, and he's realized that he doesn't want to play football anymore. I was shocked when this news came out that he signed with them. Are they hoping he's going to do something as the receiver 3?
I think from what I heard, I was listening to the Kelsey podcast with Travis and Jason, and Travis was saying that he thinks that Julio will help as like a red zone threat because they've struggled in the red zone, and he's like a big body 50-50 target guy. So I was like, I don't know what to think about that. He's read 4. Like, it's going to be A.J. Brown, then Devontae, then Goddard. So,
then Swift.
Then Swift.
Then hurts his legs.
Yeah, so I doubt he's going to do any. Basically, you're counting on him to get a red zone touchdown to break 5 points. Otherwise, he's getting 0. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be any sort of target hog at all, like, in the slightest.
That's if he is able to play more than 1 game before getting hurt. But
we haven't seen it.
Like not in 5 years.
Yeah, last year plays week 1, gets hurt, comes back in week 4, gets hurt, comes back in week 8, play 2, gets hurt. It's like, bro, your body is saying no. And I think the bigger news about Bryn is that, like, the man needs to play some sort of running back, and he cuts Jerick McKinnon for Julio Jones. Like, at least McKinnon has, like, receiving touchdown work, kind of. Like, you can get that boom week, sort of. Like, God, not that I want him on my roster, but, like, you know, you do have to put a running back in your running back slot.
He's literally just he's just counting on Zach Moss somehow staying relevant.
He's still relevant. The man has 7 carries and 14 points.
He is the RB6 on the year.
You know, you can look at our trade as Bryn fleecing me, and I still feel like I got the better end of that bargain.
I don't even remember what the trade was.
It was an 11th for a 13th. And Zach Moss.
Who the heck did he give you?
Michael Tinsley or whatever the stupid receiver from the. I cut him immediately, and then Brendan was like, "Bro, why'd you cut Tinsley?" And I was like, "Cause he shouldn't be on a roster."
7 weeks in, I think we can concur about that.
Has he done any? You know what? Let's just for giggles. Mitchell Tinsley. He made his NFL debut a month ago. He had 4% of snaps in week 2. Good for you, Mitchell. You keep it up, buddy. He's the wide receiver 923 on the year. Good job, pal. Great draft pick. Anyway, Bryn's at 6. Okay, so here's the tumble. Here we are. We're at the shakeup. And the most polarizing of this shakeup is Guy at 5. He was at 2. He's been at 2, been living at 2. He's at 5 now. And I've got him at 9.
Oh, wow.
And you and Noah have him at 5. And honestly, my rankings have Justin to thank. Because the more and more I look at this team, the more and more I hate it. Like, he has Jamar Chase, and that's it. Jacoby Myers, I guess, has been very good.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jacoby Myers is a serviceable, too. He's the wide receiver 14 on the year.
He's been good. He's been good.
So,
he's been good.
And he's missed a game. Like, he's actually been pretty good.
But Bijan has not been what we thought he was. For fantasy, anyway. He has looked really good in real life. But for fantasy. B-Rob, for the Commanders, no good. Herbert, tough schedule. I guess he's still playing fine at 18, so that's fine. So Herbert's kind of good. Dotson, that was a waste. Unfortunate. The Broncos backfield, I don't know what to do with that. Deebo Samuel, as with all Niners pass catchers, don't know what to do with that. And he's been hurt.
Well, and Deebo's also the most injury prone, which is why I always stayed away from him.
And he has the future running back for the Titans, though. Tyjae Spears is taking over.
Allegedly.
Let's read the most recent blurb. Tyjae Spears uninvolved. Oh, uninvolved. Wait. Oh.
Yes.
Oh no. Disaster has struck Guy. He's 8th in scoring, Josh. 8th in scoring.
Yep.
How is this team 4-2?
He's been lucky, whereas me and Bryn have been unlucky. Pretty simple.
Well, he plays Noah this week, so he's gonna get lucky again.
Unless Noah can pull out the impossible.
Who is? Noah's gonna lose again. Guy is gonna be 5-2 with the doggy roster. I don't like this roster. It's bad. It's not good.
Hey, what you actually should be doing is rooting for him to stay afloat, so then you match up with him first week of playoffs.
No, it's never going to happen, Josh, because my goal is to get the bye, and he's going to get dumped in the first round. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
But I'm not going to lie. I have never been so confident at 1-4 that I was going to go 2-4 when I matched up against him. I was like, my team's going to put him in a body bag this week. No offense, but it's bad. It's going to be disrespectful. Even with all my tough matchups. I had brutal matchups last week, and I knew I was going to dump on him.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, you did. You took a huge dookie. I think you had the biggest, after the Ray report or the weekly report, didn't you have the biggest margin?
Yep.
Biggest blowout. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
By 31%. Never stood a chance.
Mm-hmm. And that was with my tight end putting up 0.6 points. So,
Yeah. 0.6 points. The Kittle experience. Speaking of the George Kittle experience, at 4, it's you.
Okay.
You've soared up, my friend. You're up 3, and you are the lowest on your team. I've got you at 4 right here. Noah's got you at 2.
Oh, wow.
And you have yourself at 6. And I cannot speak for Noah, but like I said, I like you at 4. I think that between Hurts and Mostert and AJ Brown, this team has a lot to go for it. Olave has been very consistent. I think he had the one bad game because he was coming off an injury or something, but for the most part, he's been very good. Your depth, I think, is a little sus. I do like Breece Hall. Hopefully, he can continue to work. And maybe Romeo Dubs. I really think the Vegas game was just kind of a fluke. The more I think about it, and the more I look at it, for the whole entire Packers offense. But like, bold of you to play Warren over Najee this week. Talk me through that decision.
So, I mean, I'm still wrestling through it, but my thought process is I think the Rams' rush defense, from what I remember, is like not terrible. And so, how I think the game is going to go is they're going to obviously the Rams' aerial attack, I think, will overwhelm the Steelers' secondary. Sorry, no offense. But I think Cooper Kupp will go wild. And then they'll have to play from behind, which means Jaylen Warren gets about 6 receptions for 50 yards and maybe like 4 carries for like 15 yards.
He's
That's an
pretty
easy.
efficient. He's pretty
That's an easy.
efficient on the ground.
He's been outscoring Najee like the past like 3 weeks or something. And granted, it's like a small margin, but I just think Warren will have the highest. I think it's the safest play because he gets those receptions, and I don't think Najee will have enough running room because I have negative faith in Matt Canada to put together a competent rushing scheme for Najee.
I don't disagree, honestly. I'm just glad that I wouldn't have to make this decision. Like, I feel like it's brutal. I know you'd rather play Breece Hall, but he's on bye.
I mean,
but
personally, when Breece Hall was on bye, I was counting on having Khalil Herbert because he was taking over the backfield, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, then he got
So
hurt. Yeah, it was annoying. And Ayuk's been pretty good this year. I think he's been the best pass catcher. Oh, see, he's hot and cold too, man. These Frisco receivers, bro.
Those stats are also a little deceiving because I don't know if you watched the Dallas-San Fran game. Ayuk had a 40-yard reception called back because of a holding penalty. So that's like an extra 4.5 points right there. Cleveland, 10 targets, 4 receptions. It's also Cleveland. So
it was a rainy game.
Yeah.
And like Cleveland's defense very good.
A lot of those targets he was open. Purdy just didn't put the ball on him, like in a place where he could catch it, and even still, he had 10 points. So
I heard he had a couple drops that day too. But yeah, again, weather in Cleveland is a tough matchup. So I think Ayuk is the receiver that I like the most of the backfield there. But as your wide receiver 3, I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely put Olave though in your wide receiver slot, dude. He plays Thursday.
Oh yeah, I don't know why. I just kind of have him in because at this point I know I'm starting 3 wide receivers.
Yeah. Dubs might pop off this week too. But yeah, I think the squad's great. Raheem Mostert is
RB2 on the year, baby.
So we all know Liam Jungles. Liam contacts me occasionally with fantasy advice. He's in a league that I'm not a part of. And he reached out last week before the big game and said, "Hey, someone's offering me Pacheco for Mostert." And I like Pacheco a lot. And I said, "Okay, listen. It depends on what you need." I said, "Knowing your team, I think I'd keep Mostert, and here's why. Mostert can have that down game. Like, he can have the Buffalo 7 for 9, no score. But Mostert, at any point, at any time, can just rip off a 60-yard touchdown run. Like, at any moment. And the Dolphins are playing such good football that he will have that opportunity to do so like 12 times a game.
Yep.
And I'd rather have the chance of that than Pacheco's very consistent but low ceiling. You know, like, Pacheco's going to get his work. He's going to put up like 10 to 12, which is great. I'd rather have the boom potential. And then, of course, Mostert rewarded my sound advice by just popping the crap off. And Liam was like,
Mostert
thank God.
Mostert has scored a touchdown in every game except for one.
He's nuts.
He's been so consistent because my thing is, with the Miami offense, like, who are you going to key in on? Hill and Waddle or their backfield? Like, you really got to pick your poison, and with just how explosive they are, they're going to get goal line looks, which is like Mostert's going to have at least 3 or 4 chances per game to get a touchdown, and he's pretty dang efficient. So
Yeah, and then I think, the biggest question mark with Raheem Mostert was injury, and that's why they were working in guys like Salvin Ahmed and Achane. And, I don't know about you, but I kind of wish that Achane was still around. I think it keeps the tires fresh. Maybe it limits his overall upside. Like, maybe this last week he doesn't get 3 touchdowns, so he only gets 2. But, I'd rather kind of play the cards of hopefully he stays healthy all year and I can keep playing him, as opposed to, if he gets that true workhorse look, he might get hurt, which has been his
I think regardless,
rap.
he's never going to get a workhorse look. Like even last week, well, I guess it's hard to read into the last
17.
couple weeks because
Yeah.
they've pulled their starters. So regardless, I mean, just looking at the snap counts, they were still down. They were down 14-0, and they're starting off drives with Salvin Ahmed, and I'm like,
Yeah. Which I think is
why?
good
But
as
also,
a
I get it.
as a Mostert manager. I'd rather him take a couple drives off because he's still going to get those chances to win you weeks, and he did. He still got you.
And he won't get hurt that way. So
right, yeah.
But I have Jeff
lowering
Wilson
the
as
likelihood.
insurance, so
who isn't as explosive though? You would rather have Mostert.
right?
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the team's great, and Hurts is always going to be good. I was listening to a podcast, and they're like, Hurts played very bad football this week, but was good for fantasy.
He has always been that way.
Always good for fantasy.
Yeah, I was like, dang it, 3 interceptions, but he still put up 20 points.
Yeah, 20 games. So you can't really be upset. And AJ Brown has really come on in recent weeks. Has truly been, hey, I am the best receiver here. Throw me the football.
He has 2 touchdowns on the year, and yet he's wide receiver 8, second in receiving yards.
No, he's the wide receiver 6.
Oh,
he's the wide receiver 6.
Even
better. All right, moving on. Ken's at 3. I've got him at 2. You've got him at 3. Noah's got him at 4. And the big question mark here is Christian McCaffrey. The rest of the roster is very solid. He's getting good quarterback play from either Howell or Trevor Lawrence, whoever he's been playing recently. I feel like Lawrence had a good game. Would you just cut Lawrence? He might have cut Lawrence.
Yeah, he cut Lawrence.
I don't blame him. Howell's been fine. And yeah, the big question mark is Christian McCaffrey. But losing Connor and McCaffrey in the same week, or back-to-back weeks, kind of sucks. I am very lucky. I'm going to get to play him without Mixon on bye as well. So I'm very much hoping that McCaffrey just take the week off, buddy. Just get healthy. It's the Vikings. You guys will beat the Vikings without you. Take the week off. Come back strong next week.
No, what you really want is them to start McCaffrey and just use him as a decoy. They'd be like, we'll put you in the starting lineup, but then after the first drive, we're putting in Jordan Mason.
Yeah, Jordan Mason's the sleeper this week. But the team's good, and I think that early on we talked about his depth at running back and receiver, or just in depth in general, and he's survived some injuries here. But we talked about it earlier. I want to hear your thoughts on Michael Mayer.
I think that he was a good pickup. I think this past week was a little deceiving. I don't think he's going to replicate that performance very often. I put in a waiver claim for him, but then I was reading an article about go ahead, pick him up, but don't expect this again because think about how Belichick operates. He wants to take away your best option, so he was focused on taking away Devontae, and he's probably like, who the heck is Michael Mayer? If anyone's beating us, it's going to be Michael Mayer. And so I read that. I was like, oh, that's a good point. And I'm not dropping Musgrave or Kittle, and I don't want 3 tight ends in my roster. So that's why I didn't submit a waiver claim for Mayer. But he's facing Chicago this week. So I'd expect 7 points out of him.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup. And I do think I like his potential, especially as Ken has been with us in tight end hell. The majority of the league that's trying to find someone to play. Roll the dice. Just good, solid, consistent managing from Ken, and like I said, hopefully I can kind of get lucky here with his unfortunate injury news. But thank goodness McCaffrey's not out long term. His team definitely suffers if that happens.
Yeah, it's just insane.
He's just if he plays. Go. I'm not a betting man, but go put some money in on McCaffrey scoring touchdown. It's like
It's
not
free
automatic.
money at this point.
It's free money. Yeah, you hit me up with a text this week like he's inevitable. It's like he will score and you will be happy. That puts me at 2. You've got me at 2. Me and Noah both have me at 3. Tell me why you're so high on my team, Josh.
I think it's more because I'm lower on everybody else.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Thanks.
Like I think you have a good team, but obviously with Ken with the question marks, I would have put Ken at 2 if not for the question marks about McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He was basically the only other team in consideration for 2. And I like the Jones pickup. Obviously, I'm still a little concerned about his health with his hamstring, mostly because I remember vividly Noah just complaining about how Keenan Allen's hamstring last year would not get better. So I obviously hope that doesn't happen with Aaron Jones here, but I mean the rest of your roster is just solid, like safe floor. I don't. What's your ceiling again? Like how much have you hit? Like 130?
I think week 2 I hit 140 something, 145.
Okay.
So I can do
Okay,
it.
so you have the ceiling. I think this team is like I feel like I can count on this team to hit like 100 as like
Yeah.
the men.
So yeah, and that alluded very odd or strangely, this my team is like almost what I drafted it to be. Like I've made a couple additions, but mostly it's the team I drafted, which is very odd for me. Normally my team is completely different by like week 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I drafted. The idea was safe floor. I wanted guys who I knew would produce. And that 145 week, if I remember correctly, I only had one player go over, or 2 players go over 20. And that was because everybody hit their floor. Like everyone under the sun had a good
Mm-hmm.
day. Not a great day, but a good day. And that was the idea. I hated getting beat on weird weeks where like my boom players didn't like they flopped,
Mm-hmm.
and especially not having a first round pick. And I think that's what holds me back. Like I definitely have Ken over myself because I don't have the Tyreek Hill, CMC, Mostert like
Mm-hmm.
player that can just like pop the crap off. I mean, DJ Moore did it that one week, and thanks DJ, but that's not his. I know that that's not his rap.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Well, I think Kyron is kind of that guy for you. I mean,
he's very consistent, but he's not like a 30-point player. Like
I mean, he's put up
McCaffrey's hit it
26
2
and
or 3
25.
times. He's been good. I love Kyron. Don't get me wrong, but McCaffrey, Hill, those big time Chase, the big time superstars that do it. We'll do it like 4 or 5 times in a year, whereas I'm hoping to get one.
I also think you haven't seen Tua hit his ceiling yet either, because he's been getting pulled in the fourth quarter. He's not playing full games. So I think like Philly,
I might see
this will
this
be a
week.
great indication of like what is like week 1, 27 points. I think Tua's good for like 25 plus versus a normal opponent. The 2 times or the 3 times he hasn't gone like that high was New England, obviously because Belichick early in the season defense great. Buffalo, self-explanatory, and then the Giants. I'm pretty sure he also got pulled. So
yeah, he got yoinked. He got yoinked in the third quarter. And like a lot of those rushing touchdowns that Mostert gets are his guy like Tua throwing to a 1-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, okay. I guess I don't get that one, which is annoying. But Tua's been great, and then I also have Kyler Murray, who just got put in the window, and I can let him cook. Like I can just let him sit there and see what we've got. But ultimately, as much as I'm excited about Kyler, I'm more excited about Marquise Hollywood-Brown. Because last year, without Hopkins, he was like a top 5 receiver every freaking week that Kyler was in. And they don't have Hopkins. So
they don't really have anyone.
it's literally just Marquise Brown, who's been great to play. Like he's been a good play all year. But I think, we can actually start to see ceiling games. And I'm kind of hoping that kind of takes over. I do love the Jones trade pickup. I do believe he plays this week. He practiced today. And I think that they thought think that the matchup's fantastic, and I think Aaron Jones can be very efficient even if he's not on a full snap count. And I think that I honestly thought the Packers thought they could get away with winning without him against Vegas. And then they pooped the bed. Like,
Yep.
I don't think they thought it would be that close. You know what I mean? And they were like, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
just rest him. We have the bye week. Let's just try to make sure that he doesn't get hurt more.
Mhm.
And then, so I do think he comes back because they do not want to lose to Denver.
Absolutely not.
And yeah. But yeah, I'm happy with it. And Evans comes back too. All my guys, like this last week is a good example of how I didn't have a ceiling game from anybody and I still put up 100.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's what I like. That's what I like. And then Kester's at 1. We all have him at 1. I don't know if we need to talk about this. He's getting Eckler back at full strength.
Mm-hmm.
He already has Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne. Etienne's the running back 3 on the year.
Yeah. It's just
Amon-Ra St. Brown is the wide receiver 12. Oh, he missed a game. He's been crazy good, but he missed the game. I guess that's
so consistent.
Yeah,
he's so crazy consistent. Ridley's kind of volatile. Goddard's like every other tight end, kind of volatile. He could put up 21,
but at least
or he
he
can put up 6.
He can do the 21. Like there are a few tight ends that can do that, and Goddard can, even though you're not really expecting it.
The bigger thing for me is the Ken Walker, because I was convinced it was going to be more of a 50-50 split with Zach Charbonnet with how highly they drafted him, but nope, not the case.
Nope.
Oh, well, I guess he's been injured too, so that doesn't help, but I mean...
But they haven't even been trying, and they haven't had to. Walker's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Kessler can keep Walker and Brown again for, good value. I think it'll cost them, a 4th and a 3rd or something.
Yeah, it'll be a 3rd for Amon-Ra, and it'll be...
I want to say it's a 4th.
Oh, no, it's a 1st for... Oh, I'm looking at Ridley. My bad. For Walker, it'll be a 4th, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. But yeah, so good job, Kessler. You keep dominating, you lucky son of a gun. I am very glad that I don't have to play you for a while. And who's he beating up on this week? Jacob. Yikes.
Jacob has the one hope though is Jacob has a tendency sometimes to just put up 140 out of nowhere.
Jacob, he's totally clowned on you and Bryn having good weeks.
Just out of nowhere. It's just like, okay, cool. You can do it. But I guess since he just did it, he won't do it this week though, so.
He doesn't have Adam Thielen, so it's impossible.
Oh, that's true. Yep. No. Kessler's got it.
Kessler's locked up without Adam Thielen. All right, well, there's the rankings. I don't know if I want to dive, or if there's anything else to dive into. A lot of waiver movement, but not a lot of big pickups. I was very happy to win the Cleveland Browns sweepstakes by one point. By one fab. That was very... Dude, I had 10 in, and then I was like, I don't need to spend double digits on a defense. And I put in 8, and then I was like, wait. The last 2 times defenses went big, it was for 7. Which means everyone's going to put 8. So I'm going to put 9. Jackpot!
Yeah, I put in a waiver claim for the Browns for 10. And then I looked at all the defenses. I was like, wait a second. The Cowboys defense is on the waiver wire. And they're on bye, which means no one's going to go for them. Let me put $1 in. I can ride the Vegas defense because they've been actually surprisingly good the past couple weeks.
And they've been fine, yeah.
They face Chicago this week without Justin Fields.
Ooh.
So after this week, I can cut Vegas and I'll have Dallas the rest of the way and pick them up for 0 fab.
Very, very smart. Dallas is definitely a defense that you don't care about the matchup. You just play them.
And they have some juicy matchups coming up, especially when I need them. Because for me,
Giants,
my schedule,
Carolina, Washington.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Those 3 weeks for me are the most pivotal weeks for me, making playoffs. Weeks 10, 11, 12 are very important for me if I want to make playoffs. So that's when I'm like, really, I just need the Cowboys defense for those 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, you're kind of like an almost must win. You're not quite there. I think you have one or two that you could still lose, but then after that, it's like do or die.
Yeah, safely, I think I can afford myself one loss before the trade deadline. Maybe because I have some weeks coming up where I'm like, especially on my buys that I've already scoped out, where I'm like, "Ugh, this might get very, very sketchy." I know I've got like some auto wins penciled in, like against Mark week 12, like I showed you. Mark's week 12 buys
Dude,
are insane.
oh wait, is it 13 or 12? I thought it was
It's
12 or
I can
13.
I think it's
Yo, Josh plays Mark week 13, and Mark has Cousins, Edwards, Diggs, Adams, Flowers all on bye. It's like the entire
he's
team. The whole team
yeah,
minus Kamara is on bye. And I
but yeah,
think
like my
Mark, he's just thinking like, I lose that week. Like it is what it is. Like he
yep.
just.
But I face Santos week 10 with players on bye. I face you week 11.
That's pretty good.
I face you week
Yeah.
11 with Olave on bye. So that's where I'm like, I need the
I'm at full
Cowboys.
strength.
Yeah, I'm like, I need the Cowboys defense against someone good. And then I face Noah week 12 when he'll have A-Chain and potentially JJ back. So I'm like,
Oh.
I need that Cowboys defense against the Commanders, which is why I
Yeah.
which is why I was like, let me just scoop up the Cowboys defense while they're on bye right now.
Thanksgiving week.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Trust me, I've scoped out my entire schedule to see how I can make this work.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. I mean, obviously, we've already talked about your squad, and I think you have a chance. But yeah, then like that's the whole winning and losing early is so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel like your back's against the wall. Like I feel like I need to win like 2 or 3, and I have playoffs locked up, which is a huge relief. Like
Yeah.
then I can start hopefully crafting my roster, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's why like I feel
All
like
right.
I can't lose another one, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully you get your brother this week. Please bury your brother. Down with Justin.
I would love
I want
to.
Justin to start to sell because he knows that he can't do anything. That would be the best. That would be the absolute best. But yeah. All right, well that's gonna do it for us. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
No, I think that's pretty much it. This is gonna be a interesting week this week.
Good week.
Who's your matchup of the
real
week
quick,
this week?
I was just about to ask. If without the injuries, I would have said Noah Guy, but that matchup actually kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's me and Ken.
You're dead
Or
wrong.
it's you and Justin.
No.
Who is it?
It's Santos and Sam. It's gonna be a competition to see who can get the lowest score of the week and
still win.
No, but yeah, you and Ken is probably the real matchup of the week.
The toilet bowl strikes again.
Let's put bets. What is the over under you think of their combined score? I'm gonna go with
Okay, wait. Their
combined
Bengals
score,
are on
I
bye?
think.
Dude, Deshaun Watson might not even play, Sam. What are you doing?
I don't think that these two teams will break 160 combined.
Oh, I'm gonna go lower. I think combined they don't score 120.
You know, Mike, 120?
Yeah, I think this is a sub 60 game. I mean, look, I think Jalen Waddle is the only player in Laporta that can do anything. Waddle Loki might have a huge
I think Drake
game.
London will put up like 15 because Drake London's actually been pretty solid the past couple weeks.
I think it's a mirage with London, personally, but I could be wrong.
I think Sam's gonna put up 75.
Sure.
I think Santos will actually. I think Santos will put up 60. So I guess my over/under is at 135.
Maybe if Gabe Davis scores a touchdown. Who else is going to score a touchdown
Oh
on
my
this team?
gosh.
Goff?
Low key, other than my match, I'm going to be watching this match the most purely for entertainment purposes.
I don't think they average 60 each. I think even if Sam gets above 60, if Sam goes 70, I would not. Okay, I'll say 130. It would not surprise me if Santos puts up under 50. It wouldn't. Like Algier and Ingram combining for 5 points is not out of the cards. Like that definitely could happen.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
And then
low
it's like
key, I want Santos to break Sam's lowest scoring record. I think Sam set it at 39. I low-key want
Yeah.
Santos to break it.
37. 37.
What if they don't even combine for 100 points this week?
I've never seen that before in my life. Week 1, Noah played the Dallas Cowboys defense, and they got 36 by themselves. And Sam's whole team put up 37. Oh, 2 goose eggs. 2 separate goose eggs. Disaster.
That doesn't encapsulate his
all
season.
right.
I don't know what does.
Poor Sam. Sam, be reasonable, okay? Let's do a deal. All right, everybody. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.